It's all about the US dollar dominance. You are very aware of the StableCoin SuperCycle. Welcome to you, baby dolls. This is a picture of Treasury Secretary Bessent. Now, I've got the Pulse Chain and PDI logo out here. Why? Because they're cool. Also, another reason why StableCoin SuperCycle, okay? Remember, the US government, the Committee of the Treasury, made a report, and they estimated stablecoins are going to grow up to 2 trillion in size. Right now, they're about 250 billion, 250B. So they're predicting an 8x growth in the next 4 years. Now, it's very beneficial to the US government to do that. Why? Because if you issue a stablecoin, you have to go and get yield from the US government, which means you go and buy the US government bonds. And it allows them to keep spending. So that's why they love stablecoins, don't they? Especially US government ones. So Bessent, friends, this is when I posted this at the time. I want to cover it here for you because I've got to remind everybody, right? Bessent literally said stablecoins being 2 trillion is a very reasonable number. It's interesting because, you know, I hope crypto grows to 10 trillion. Does that mean stablecoins are going to be 2 trillion of that? Oh, yeah. What does that mean for PDI and Pulse Chain and the rest of the industry? Growth. That's what it means. And it would strengthen the US dollar's position. All right. So if PDI is 1 cent, it's 100x to $1. If PDI is half a cent, it's 200x to $1. If it's a third of a cent, it's about 333x to $1. Doesn't have to hit there. There are different avenues you can gain exposure for StableCoin SuperCycle. You can buy Chainlink, you can buy Ethereum, you can buy Ripple, XRP, you could buy the Circle shares, CRCL, you could buy ENA, Athena, you could just buy their USD and you can earn the 16% yield. But I've got to remind you, why is USDE the Athena US dollar? Why does that give you 16% yield? It's because they basically got a centralized server system and they allow borrowing and lending that happens between exchanges, trading exchanges. So when you take on a position of long or short, because you're in it for a short amount of time, you pay a high fee. You know, it's annualized out to 16%. But everybody, when they trade, they think they're only going to be in the trade for like, you know, between 1 and like 7 days. So that's why they're happy to pay a high fee rate per day. But eventually that yield rate goes down. That's the way to participate. You could buy Athena. Remember, a lot of them there's a lot of VC tokens and stuff out here. You could buy, you know, Coinbase if you want. There's different avenues to participate. You could buy MKR, MakerDAO, which is a governance token though. Obviously, one of the highest upside, unique first cycle unicorn effects is to be participating in PDI, but it's an unstable coin. Okay, it's just another unique way to gain exposure to the ecosystem or of growing stable coins out here. I mean, like if you want though, you could go release your own stable coin. You could go do that. Or you could, if you want, buy into Plasma ICO, which is backed by Tether, which is going to be a stable chain. There's different avenues to participate. They have different risks, yeah, and different upside rewards. That's why obviously the golden goose of all these is PDI, obviously out here. I wanted to show you, friends. YouTube showed me this review. Your June month in review. I made 165 videos in the past month. Stock standard. How's that possible? I don't know. 1 month since Richard Hart released his video, right? Pulse Chain will continue to rise as the business cycle goes up. Let's actually crank it. Ethereum showing strength, but you know, we've come a long way, haven't we? And I'm not giving up now. Just want to show you as a friendly reminder. And it's very, very tough, friends. I haven't had this scheduled post that came out. It's been 2 years since this death threat sent to me. This was done on 9th of June, 2023. So Hex from Ethereum, I think this is EHEX, okay? EHEX was down about 70% of 1 cent, okay? So this is just one person. Sommi, look what they wrote to me. Go die. Don't ever do again a Hex video, you piece of shit. I wish cancer to you and your family. We know where you live. The mafia has your picture. Be careful when you are out, okay? So because I dared to like be long. And yeah, that's Hex from Ethereum, bro. That's a Richard Hart coin. When I was saying that, Richard had, yeah, pretty much, he basically said, you know, market's chosen PHEX, EHEX is dog shit. See? So, like, I've been here before. I see this, right? It is funny. A lot of people crying in the casino. I give literally 0 weight to them. I don't give a shit. But that's what the market and the crowd does, because a lot of people, friends, what you'll find is, remember, there's thousands and thousands of people out there. I mean, like, you know, The bottom 1% of society, I mean, they shouldn't even be given oxygen to breathe. You shouldn't even waste, the bottom 1% of society, you shouldn't even waste concrete in a room for them to basically occupy, let alone the oxygen in that room, you know? The bottom 10% of society, you probably should just make them duke it out with each other to fight for relevance. But you get the point, right? That's why I know when these things creep up, I don't care. But this is the type of stuff I see. I cop this all the time, okay? And yeah, it is just literally daring just to be long. Okay, so it is funny to see that, isn't it? Quite funny. So if you want the polar opposite of that, though, what do you want? So when people wishing cancer on you and your family, right, which is what I literally just, these scum get sent my way. That's why I light a lot of candles, friends. Like so. See, I've always got the candle lit here. Remember, it doesn't faze me. And I like to explore this. Okay, well, you know, if buying low does that, well, what would be that person saying, here, take my wife, impregnate her. I will raise your children, you know, and let me record. So what would be, that'd be the polar opposite of that, right? It'd be, instead of like talking about stuff you like when they're low price, to get that reaction, you'd have to talk about stuff after they've like gone to the high price. So after something's done a 100x, you're saying, I love it, I love it, I love it. Now's the time to get in. It's going to go another 100x higher. You get it? That's the crowd. It's capital allocation. It's a seesaw. There's limited units of currency to put in. It's shifting and it's rotating around. Remember, you're playing chess with these pieces. We can't play for a world where everybody has access to the money printer to keep putting your units in. Okay, we live in a world where there's scarce units. And you know, one of the other common questions I get, friends, is when people see me post videos like this, right? We're gonna mog them. We're gonna mog. Because a lot of people, I know you're just living your life. You're going to work. You tie your shoelace. You go to the bathroom, wash your hands. You change your soap container. You do all these useful things out there in society. When people come and see me, they go, if the prices are down, if I'm not visibly crying on camera, people are like taken back. They're like, whoa, I'm feeling bad. How come you feel bad? And then sometimes people too skeptical, but I don't blame them. They say, oh, maybe you're making money like jumping on everyone out here. I go, bro, there's no money to be made. We're literally just here because if you're going through well, you have to keep going. Yeah, it's just like you expect it to get better every month. But that's why everyone's been learning off me, that's why, friends, abundance mindset. That's why I'm here. Okay, I'm showing you that, yeah, I hope it gets better next week, tomorrow, next month. We've been doing that for like 3 years. I hope it does. But if it doesn't, go to plan B. And plan B is to keep holding. And to say, okay, next month. Okay, next month. Okay, next month. Okay, next year. Okay, next year. And then just people see that attitude. That's eventually how you win, man. That's how you win. You need to hit these home runs once, but you can't give up. If you mess up once, you disappear for a few months, you don't want to look at it anymore. It could be fatal. And then you have to be a 2-cycle person instead of 1 cycle. I found this interesting as well, friends. I want to show you how these things can eventually transform. I mean, like, look at this. Michael Saylor's descent into madness. So look at this. MicroStrategy, they're posting this chart, yeah. MicroStrategy's 1-year return outperformed Bitcoin, gold, and the Magnificent Seven every single day for the past year. Good strategy is better than good timing. So interesting. This is what Bitcoin Maxis are saying. Look what they're saying. Michael Saylor's new favorite thing is to post charts that convey Bitcoin as the second best asset. My stock is better than Bitcoin, and there's no second best. Is affinity scammer double speak? Interesting, these interpretations of what happens, right? People end up drinking their own Kool-Aid. So I found that very, very interesting. How they're like, oh, there is no second best. There is no second best. Okay, why are you selling a stock? Why are you bragging about your stock price outperforming Bitcoin? I guess Bitcoin isn't the best thing anymore. You're saying your thing is out here, right? And why is everybody loving it? He's got a $13 million Bitcoin target. Bitcoin dominance went up 4 years in a row. Everyone's done the FOMO leverage buying on Bitcoin. So now it's just accepted out here. Yeah. This is how markets work, friends. The people you should be celebrating are the people who show you stuff that's down, big percentages off the high, where no one wants to touch it. We should be celebrating those people, but we don't. Yeah, we don't do that because no one's in there, because we're programmed to run away from things like that. That's why by default, your financial IQ is not 100. It's 70. Yeah, it's literally, friends, you are, friends, the army, I think the US Army, I think if you have an IQ below 80, they won't hire you at all. Yeah, so the US Army, like, they can't even find a job for you to lick envelopes pretty much. You see what I mean? So in markets, everything in your body is programming you to lose money. Literally everything. You want to join the crowd at the tops. You want to sell stuff at the bottoms when they go bad. You don't want to look at value at all. Okay, you don't want to look at something being cheap or expensive. Your whole brain, every fiber of your being is telling you to like gravitate and watch information that says $13 million Bitcoin or up only or this time is different. Like it's telling you all of this stuff. And also the smarter you think you are, the more financial alchemy you have a higher probability of accessing, which is just pretty much words for leverage. That's it, you know? So it gets tough. I made this video for my friend, Mr. Wu Quintus. Yeah, so everybody is guessing, you know, like on paper, it sounds easy. Oh, just buy the low prices and then you get the highest reward. Yeah, but I made this video. It's very interesting because Mr. Wu Quintus was finding out it's pretty hard to buy bottoms, yeah? It literally takes a part of your soul. The higher upside you want, like we were talking about PDI, for example, it's like really, really hard. I know, but like nothing's as tough as PDI buying it because you have a cult chain and then the cult leader saying he hates his coin, it's a scam. That's tough. That makes it double tough. However, if the prophecy wins, you deserve it because you withstood that. It's kind of like hardened you for everything else. But, you know, like when we got the triple FUD, you're not getting 1,000x return, you know what I mean, in any other coin. That's why you get that. Maybe in other stuff, best case, you get the 100x, yeah? Like that's why PDI has like another multiplier of difficultness on top of it out here. But that's what you also find as people get richer, their ability to stomach the bottoms and the lows gets rougher. Yeah, that's why they do recommend financial advisors, which I am not. They recommend you have higher allocation to bonds as you get older. So I think maybe when you're 40 years old, you have like 60-40 portfolio, and then every year you turn over, you tick up, you have 1% extra allocation to bonds and less from stocks. I think it's something like that. I've got the formula. Right, because your risk, you know, you're pretty much, your risk appetite goes down. But if you're poor, you want to make it, you have to play the game, like play chess with everybody else. You got to buy low. That's it. You're really at a war with yourself. So it's not so easy, is it? And people love finding confirmation as things go up. So remember, you're aware of all of this, yeah? So if you want to climb the rank, your wealth status, remember, friends, we're not dealing with just dollars. That's why the biggest gift I can give you, friends, is not just our Pokeball of friendship. Okay, it's not just telling you that you are worth more than my Game Boy, which is a lot. Okay, it's not just that. The biggest gift I've given you, I mean, there's thousands of highest value content here, but I've shown you how to think about your mindset. If you're in crypto, you're investing, don't use this dollar amount, you know, don't use this dollar amount because someone's living cost in Poland is different for Antarctica, where all the UFOs and the pyramids are that we're not allowed to go see. It's different for someone in Shanghai or Village, China, different for somebody in Germany. Right? It's different. Everyone has a different US dollar amount. So what I tell you is, if you're living right now, you're alive, okay? You don't have to upgrade your lifestyle right now. You're living. That's how you should think about your units of investing. So, you know, for some people, they can live off $500 a month. Other people need $5,000 a month. Whatever it is for you, wherever you are in the world. Shout out to everybody out there if you are on Earth. Yeah, some of you might be in the International Space Station as well, hanging out with the other UFOs. Wherever you are, you take your living cost, and then that's your unit per month of your investment. So if you're turbo long in crypto, you will probably have, say, 6 months of living costs in crypto thrown in plus 6 months plus. You know, that's like half a year, right? So, you know, if you need $5,000 a month to live, you know, they've got like 30 grand in that they've put in. So 6 is 36K. Yeah. If you need $1,000 a month to live in, yeah. If you have $12,000 in, I guess that's good for you, right? But you don't get to upgrade, but we're just trying to think about this basic stuff. So obviously you're trying to look for, say, a 10x. You're trying to look for a 10x, you know? If you can put 1 year of living expenses, one whole year, imagine that, and you got a 10x on that, you get 10 years you don't have to work. You're going to have to pay a third for tax. Now you're down to 7 years. But now you can retire in the next cycle, you know? That's why if you want to be a one cycler person, yeah, you're going to have to go hard, really hard. You have to put in after 2 years. Think about that. You need if you have 2 years of living expenses in and you get your 10x, there you go. And you have 20 years of living expenses paid for. You pay a third to the government. Maybe you got 14 years left. You could literally live off the yield. Yeah. I mean, think about this, friends. If you have, if you're earning, say, 7% per year, and you've put in 14, and you have now after tax 14 years of living expenses, you actually earn your yield will earn you 1 year of living expenses every year. So you literally don't even have to work anymore. You don't have to work. Now, a few things, right? Firstly, it's not so easy, right? You got to commit 2 years worth of investments of living expenses. That's big. That's aggressive. And then you got to get the 10x on it. Okay, that's another thing. So it's not saying, oh, everybody's easy. Just hand out 10x's. It's not like that. But just showing you that's the way to think about it. You know, and people who come in, look, man, if you come in, if you're putting in 1 week of living expenses into crypto, good luck to you. Okay, 1 out of 10,000 of them are gonna have an insider friend. They're gonna buy the winning fluke shock lottery, whatever. That's 1 in 10,000. The other 999, not gonna happen. Okay, you know, if you're lucky, maybe your 1 month, one week or 1 month turns into like 1 year, and they'll probably blow it anyway, right? So you have the mindset of what's coming on here, but all of these are driven by us understanding the fundamentals of crypto. That's why when things go down, so the market taunts you, man. The market says, hey, you know, you've put in 1 year worth of living expenses, you're down 70%. Okay. What if it goes to 0? That's what the crowd's always saying. It's going to go to 0. It's over. It's never going to come back. Get out now. Only the strong hands survive. It's a believer cycle. Like, subscribe, baby. I don't know. Catch you soon.